I always love that Willy Wonka theme song. Hello, everybody. My name is RODGON. And no one's going to tune in for a while, so that's perfectly fine. Today, we get to learn something cool. Today, we are going to keep it nice and simple, and we're going to learn the concept of the legs. Yeah, we've been drawing pinups a lot lately. So I thought it would be really cool to be able to get some legs going. So let's start off by talking about what we talked last time. So we just finished a stream over on TikTok. And during that stream, we talked a lot about hands. We were talking about hands, we were talking about the construction of them, we were talking about the application, we were talking about the stylization, the visualization. We were talking about how to actually determine how to draw hands better. Rami Kiss, hey, Cherish, hey, amazing, RODGON, hey, what's up? Adolfo y los ausentes, good morning. Alpha the artist, good afternoon, RODGON. How are you doing today? I'm doing fantastic. You know what? We're gonna learn something really cool today. So we were talking about hands a little earlier, right? We were talking about hands on TikTok maybe a couple minutes ago. So I figured that I'm going to teach the opposite when it comes down to the opposite appendage on YouTube, and that's gonna be the legs. So today we are going to be talking about the human legs and how to make these a lot easier than we have been making them for ourselves over the last, I don't know, how long have you been drawing? So what I need from you guys is something very simple. If you guys hit that like button as you guys come into the stream, we'll get a ton of people here. So if you guys want to come and stay for the lesson, make sure to hit that little like button, little thumb button, okay? By doing so, you guys help me. Hey, little hearts and whatever. So today's lesson is going to be the legs. How are we going to learn how to draw these in really cool ways? We're going to learn how to understand how to bend them. We're going to understand a little bit more about how to make perspective look better. And we're going to learn how to overlap them to create depth coming forward and coming backwards, so that you can draw your things like your running scenes and your elements like clothing and stuff like that will also be something that we can touch on. So we can touch on clothing and all those elements that happen around our clothing, around our body parts. Okay, so we can totally talk about that stuff too. So if you guys don't know who I am a professional cartoonist, an illustrator, freelance artist, designer, student of animation, illustration, and everything in between. I am a doodle master, caricature, trainer. I worked at caricatures places for 20 something or something years. I've been drawing for about the same time. I've gone to the point of teaching everybody everything that I know. I am a know-it-all that loves teaching everything I know. So that's the best kind of know-it-all to have. So you guys are invited to learn from me today. All I need from you guys is to get a sketchbook, and then I'm going to teach you guys how to draw cool things like I'm drawing right now from scratch. By the end of today's stream, you guys will know how to draw this. You guys will know how to draw exactly like this. And if not, you guys will be able to actually apply this to your styling so that you can have fun drawing your characters better after today. And if you don't improve in some way after today, let me know and I'll give you a personal lesson. How about that? I am so confident in that you will know something new and something cool after today, that if you don't, I will gladly offer you a personal lesson. So let's start our lesson on legs. Why are legs hard? Well, legs, let's talk about the actual part first. So we're gonna learn that 4-step process. Okay, we're gonna start doing this for our lessons. Okay, we're gonna be talking about the actual thing. So we talk about the body part. Then we're gonna talk about deconstructing it, as in how it's made with our actual anatomy, like our bones and stuff. So we'll talk about this. Then we'll talk about how to simplify that so we can see it better. And then we'll talk about stylization last. Okay? So we will talk about all these points today. And I'm going to keep this next to me so I can keep that close. And that's going to be our talking points every time that we go into our lessons from now on. Boom, boom, boom. I love this structure of classing, so I can show you guys that. And then I'll show you guys application. But that's going to be within the style. Okay? So let's talk about legs. Legs are hard because legs have curves. Okay? Legs are very curvy. They have a lot of bumpies, and they have a lot of things going on. So that's why legs are normally really hard to draw. They have a lot of other things going on, like volume in a bunch of different places and a lot of perspective getting thrown around. So a lot of the times they could be really overwhelming to think about them as simple shapes because there's so much stuff going on. And we don't really know where all the bumpy parts and all the curves and everything's supposed to connect. So a lot of the times we just draw them off. And it's not even really, it's something that even professionals get wrong. So it's not something that is easily remedied unless you apply something like, I don't know, a simple, very mapping system from the very beginning. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to draw your legs really easy. The leg, the big trick to the leg is knowing how it connects to the human body. So if we have a human body, right, how does our legs connect? Belly button, nipples, collarbone, head. Okay, something like that. Let's say we have a normal human dude. The legs connect at a 30 or 45-degree angle to our bodies. They don't connect in this shape. They don't connect going down. And a lot of people just think about it like a triangle, which is fine until you have to look at it from the side. When you look at it from the side, you have to look at it like underwear. So if you give your character underwear, that's the easiest way to remember how the hip bones work. Okay? Give them tighty whities. Anything you draw, if you learn how to give anything you draw tighty whities, you have now access to hip bones. The hip bones become circles. These circles, if you connect them to other circles, you get yourself an appendage. But that circle needs to be accurate. And if it's not accurate, it's not going to look right. But by doing it like this, by finding the tidy whities, you can draw that a lot easier now. And it's going to look a lot more accurate. So at this stage alone, just by learning how to give something tidy whities is pretty cool. But how do you do that effectively? That's actually not the easiest shape to draw. Okay? Or is it? So if you guys get me to, I don't know, how do you like this thing? If you guys get me to 30 likes, let's keep it small. If you guys get it to 30 likes, I'll teach you guys how to connect your hip bones to your body in like one simple shape. Like the easiest shape in the world. But you need to know how something works. There's a mapping point to it. And that little mapping point is very fun to play with because we normally draw it all the time anyways. But learning how to connect two body parts together that you would never really correlate, it makes really fun. So 8 more likes, and we get there. I'll release the knowledge. Release the knowledge. I need a co-host. I need someone to like have like fun, just like riffing into the comment section. Can us show us different proportions? What? Learn to spell. You got to learn to spell. Even if it's not your language, you have to learn to spell or translate, because otherwise I can't understand your question. He's back. I know that you're talking about proportions, but I need to know what you're asking. Anyways, drawing the little shape of tidy whities is really fun, especially when you're already like if you already have a little bit of knowledge of the body, and then you were only curious as to how to get to this point. Just knowing that should be enough to give you the ability to draw your characters really cool, regardless of the stylization that you need or that you already have. Okay, so it could be nice and simple characters, or it could be more anatomically correct legs. Whichever one you decide to go with, that's up to you. Can you show us different proportions using this method? Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to draw a fat person, you draw those hip bones really wide. Draw your body. And then if you draw your hip bones really wide, you need more space to fill that in. So your ankles will stay the same width. You just connect this point to this point. Boop. Fat person. Skinny person. Make a skinnier shape. Draw your circles and your tidy whities. Draw skinny legs. Connect both edges to your ankles. Done. So the oh, there, you guys got it. Yeah, we got to 30. Okay, the easiest way to do this is super simple. Check it out. Anytime you want to draw your hips, draw a circle. Circle. You're gonna split it in half with a circle. This is gonna give you the front and the back of your shape. And then you're gonna do this. Draw the belly button. The sides, whatever two sides you decide, you can draw another circle if you want to make it round. Choose one side and one side. That's where you start drawing those circles down from. And now you have hip bones. It really is that simple. It's not a very complicated concept. Find your belly button. At the sides of your belly button, that's the top of your hip. So if your belly button guides you to the top of your hip, all you have to do is draw that. And now you have access to drawing legs accurately, super simply. And you have access to your belly button that can help you guide up for your rib cage and stuff like that. So stylization comes from here. You can always make this bigger, thicker, more muscly, more booty. All that stuff comes later. But learning how you actually get there is the first part. And it's just a circle with two little circles and a belly button. Yay! All right, knowledge, yes. We are learning legs today. So now let's just recap the very few things that we have gone over. The legs are not as complicated as we like to think about them. Okay? The legs are essentially the two little appendages that come out of the bottom of our body. And as long as we understand the angles at which these come out from, it doesn't have to be overly complicated to draw a little human structure. Once you find something and how it connects to the body in an accurate way, well, then you can just move that around any way you want. And once you learn how to move it around, you can double it and create actual legs. The same concept applies for your arms. Nice. I love drawing very much and play with art. Yeah. How to make really thin legs without having a huge space in between them. Okay, so if you want really, really thin legs, but you don't want any space in between them, you're going to have to reduce the size in between those circles. And then your legs, honestly, they have to come together really soon because that's just not how your legs work. If you're really skinny, you're going to have a little bit of a gap unless you have a little bit of a fatty tissue inside. Okay? So it doesn't matter how skinny you are, you still need spacing. This is your hip bones, right? This is where your thighs would come out from. So this angle right here, it's really hard to not get that gap because your legs do this. Like your actual bone structure does that. So it doesn't matter if you're skinny, you're still gonna have that gap inside right there. See what I mean? Like you have to like either have more fatty tissue, like squishy tissue in there. Like your thigh has to have a little bit of skinny, like fatty tissue to be able to fill that gap in. If you're drawing skinny people don't have that. So you end up with a little bit of a gap. Does that make sense? Like when you understand that your legs come at an angle, you start learning about that little spacing. So if you end up drawing your characters, draw it like a little bug or something like that. Imagine that this is essentially what you're drawing, because this is what you're drawing. I'm gonna teach you guys the trick for the calves too in a second. Regardless of the leg position, the perspective, whatever you choose to do with this, it always attaches back to that circle. That is your magical point. That circle, once you find that connecting point, it's game over. It's super easy to modify poses and stuff like that once you have that magical point. Because anything you draw just has to go back to that, and you have a different pose. Anything, even in like kung fu poses, like yeah, coming forward, yeah. So it doesn't matter where you put your legs, as long as you find that point, you have access to drawing them in any way you want. And it's going to look a lot more accurate. The knees? The knee in itself is not very important in the way that I like to draw. The knee itself gets incorporated into the thigh. So for me, it's the thigh and the kneecap, and then it goes a straight line down into my foot, and then I draw my calf muscles behind. So that's how I approach it. And they come out like this. Or like that. So I'm not really thinking of the kneecap, not because I don't know how to draw it. Like, no, not at all. Like, the kneecap is a very complicated body part because it's a very little structure right here surrounded by tendons and surrounded by muscle structures. And then you see a little bit of the bone underneath, and you see like all the calf muscles and stuff like that. So it's a very complicated body part. Right? It's a very interesting part of the body as well because it's kind of like the little ball that pivots everything. But if we think about it too complicated, then we end up kind of like paralyzing ourselves into not being able to draw these things. okay? So if you would think about it like this is too much. It's, unless you're actually going into that level of detail in your art, you don't really need to think about it like that. You can think about it like a kneecap and a thigh together into a little circle if you want. From that little circle, draw a cylinder going down. That cylinder is going to have a bottom. That bottom circle is your bottom of your foot. You can expand that perspective. Just make that circle bigger and connect it back to the middle of your foot. And now you have the bottom of your foot. From there, take this, which is your shin bone, and then you draw a muscle behind it and connect it to the back of the thigh. And now you have yourself a leg with all the necessary parts. When you simplify this enough and you learn how to use that properly, you end up being able to draw legs really cool, really simply, and you don't have to overly detail them to get the depth you need. Hacky sack time. So you don't have to overly complicate them at all. And they're very easy to draw because it's two shapes. It's just a teardrop into a straight line. You draw your foot, and then you connect it back to the back of your thigh. See how easy that was? So we can apply the rules of squash and stretch. Yeah, you can do that too, to anything, since our muscles and skin stretch out. Awesome way to simplify it. I like your design. Thank you. What are the more important things to get correct on the knee? The little details. When you're drawing your knee and you want to draw something a little bit more detailed, the key components of the knee are going to be the overlapping of your tendons right here. These tendons are more of a visual cue for your knee than it is this. So you're gonna overlap that tendon coming in. You're gonna have your shin bone, and you're gonna have a little bit of a shadow for the kneecap. So as long as you understand those points, you should be able to draw a lightly detailed knee. Knowing that your muscles up here, they go into a point, right? They spread out and they wrap around your kneecap, So understanding that is the next level of detail. Understanding how to create those little tendons and that indication of the calf muscle behind is another level of detail you can achieve. Or you can go for showing the depth of the bone, the shin bone at the front of your body, and then having that differentiation right here at the bottom so that it looks like it's going behind, giving you a more defined calf. So all these little overlapping lines can help you get to that next stage of drawing. But starting off like this allows you to simplify it until you want to add all that detail. Yeah. So keeping it simple allows you the ability to move it around easier. I've just never understood where those lines came from. I just copied. Yeah. Sorry, RODGON. I got to get to bed. You have a good night, dude. Thanks for your time and your teaching. Good night. Hey, German friends. Oh my God, what a God. I've never understood where those lines came from. Yeah, well, now you do. And that's what a good teacher does. That is what a good teacher does. A good teacher explains things. They just don't tell you to go learn it yourself. And from the back. Okay, let's talk about the legs from the back. The leggies from the back are the same as from the front, but they just have different overlapping levels. So if we start with a circle and we find our two little magical points, from there we can draw a teardrop down into a circle, draw a line or a cylinder going down, and we have ourselves a relatively easy leg. Okay, so that's going to be it. The muscle wraps a little bit around both sides. Cool. Now, if we wanted to draw this from the back, all we need to do is remember that that calf muscle connects to the back of this. So when you draw that teardrop, right, and you draw that circle for your kneecap, that calf muscle behind is just going to wrap around that. And it goes into your ankle. So it wraps into your thigh, and it just wraps around it. Now, the bone right here is going to give you that little lift right there. The way that it connects right here like a V, like that, that is the same thing that happens with the bone for your ankle. Okay, so that is the way that it connects. It overlaps, it overlaps, it overlaps. So all this is volume going around into the bone, into the back of the thigh, and then your connecting point with your body is right here. And that's where the butt comes in. Super simple. It's actually pretty intuitive. It literally connects right where that goes. So, circle, booty, you can already establish the booty immediately, and then draw your legs coming from there. Overlap the back of the calf, and you have yourself a leg from the back. The booty can be as big or as voluptuous as you want. Okay? So it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It's just normally taught incredibly difficult. And a lot of the times, like, I don't even blame the teachers, because a lot of the times the teachers don't really know any better. The knowledge doesn't come easy. Like, the application of it comes easy if it's taught well. But if a person doesn't really understand any other way except the way that they've been taught, doesn't matter if the teacher is a professional or anything. It's just never going to give you the knowledge that you need. So, hopefully that clarifies that a little bit more. I hope that that makes your legs a little bit better, guys. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to leave you guys with that simple lesson for today. I'm going to do a couple little shorts about these, and then I'm going to just upload those as well. So, take care, everybody. You guys are awesome. We didn't get any donations today, but I wasn't asking for them, so that's fine. And if you guys want to learn some more, we have a ton of other videos for hands, we have videos for faces, we have videos for pinups, we have videos for posing, we have videos for eyes, we have videos for everything. From portrait drawing to character drawing to drawing dragons and drawing fantasy scenes. You guys can have a lot of knowledge by just watching my videos. It's free, so go enjoy it, go learn something new. Have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody. You guys are an absolute delight to teach. And until I see you guys again, have a lovely day. Take care. And I will catch you in the next video. Later, gators.